The United States and its allies project power into the Persian Gulf using billions of dollars in hardware. Two carrier strike groups, guided missile destroyers, and constant aerial surveillance operate within a 21-mile-wide choke point. The objective of this naval blockade is straightforward: cut off the primary revenue stream of the Iranian economy by halting every drop of seaborne oil attempting to leave the region. Yet, beneath the radar of the most sophisticated naval armada on Earth, hundreds of massive supertankers are slipping through the perimeter, invisible to the sensors to track them. During active military operations, an estimated 4 million barrels of Iranian crude managed to bypass the cordon in a single week, generating over $140 million a day in state revenue. Adding more destroyers to the strait fails to plug the leak, because you cannot sink what you cannot legally or physically pin down. The core doctrine of the conventional naval blockade is breaking down in real time, defeated by a maritime adversary operating entirely outside the standard rules of engagement. The mechanism defeating this blockade is the Shadow Fleet, a decentralized, highly coordinated network of over 1,000 fraudulent commercial vessels. These are mostly aging, decommissioned tankers pulled from the scrap heap and resurrected specifically for illicit trade. The system operates as a state-sponsored multi-domain logistics network, engineered to circumvent the global financial and military structures designed to stop it. To successfully sail a million-barrel tanker past an American warship requires a specific 3-layered strategy of deception. The Shadow Fleet neutralizes modern navies through superior subversion rather than firepower. They manipulate physical tracking, exploit loopholes in international maritime law, and erase the boundary between a commercial transport and a military asset. Look at the primary unit of this fleet, the Very Large Crude Carrier. The first tactic is physical and electronic obfuscation. Every commercial ship relies on an automatic identification system to broadcast its location. Shadow crews intentionally deactivate these transponders, entering dark loading. They go completely dark before approaching Iran's primary export terminals, such as the deep-water berths at Karg Island. Hiding a 300-meter-long ship is difficult, so crews transition from passive hiding to active deception through electronic spoofing. Vessels transmit entirely fabricated GPS coordinates. While the physical tanker loads 2 million barrels of crude in Iran, its digital footprint tells Allied radar it is drifting harmlessly off Oman. Back in the physical world, crews repaint hulls and alter ship names mid-journey. By severing the link between physical reality and digital tracking, these crews blind the primary surveillance architecture used by Allied navies to enforce the blockade. Once a shadow ship is identified, the battleground shifts from the ocean to the bureaucratic realm of international maritime law. Under the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, interdiction requires legal justification, but ownership is obscured through a labyrinth of shell companies. To sail legally, shadow vessels exploit flags of convenience, buying registrations from smaller states lacking the infrastructure to enforce technical oversight. Allied navies adapted by pressuring these small nations to revoke those registrations. Once a ship is deflagged, it becomes stateless, giving a U.S. destroyer the legal authority to board and seize it in international waters. The Shadow Fleet responded by abandoning these small nations altogether. Now they seek out the registries of global adversaries. Dozens of these tankers are now sailing under the flag of the Russian Federation. This creates a permanent legal shield. Boarding a stateless vessel is a routine law enforcement operation. Forcing your way onto a Russian-flagged ship is an act that risks direct military confrontation with Moscow. Even if the legal hurdles are cleared, the final layer of evasion is designed to make the physical act of boarding unacceptably dangerous. These commercial vessels function as mobile surveillance platforms. Hidden inside standard shipping containers are advanced signals intelligence arrays. These systems actively track Allied naval movements, intercept communications in the Gulf, and relay targeting data back to shore. To protect this hardware, ship owners have begun placing armed personnel on board, frequently utilizing highly trained, state-linked paramilitary contractors. A standard Coast Guard boarding team expects compliance from a civilian merchant crew. Breaching a massive steel structure defended by hardened mercenaries turns a customs inspection into a close-quarters tactical assault. By blurring the line between a commercial cargo ship and a military asset, the Shadow Fleet deliberately paralyzes standard naval rules of engagement. All of this takes place within a hyper-compressed 21-mile-wide geographical theater. The Shadow Fleet does not operate in isolation. It sails under the active area denial umbrella of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Any attempt by Western navies to interdict these ghost ships is immediately met with harassment from swarms of IRGC fast attack craft, operating dangerously close to the shipping lanes. Below the surface lies an even greater deterrent. A single $1,500 contact mine resting on the seafloor is enough to cripple a billion-dollar destroyer. The internal defenses of the shatter tankers, combined with the lethal external threat of the IRGC, push the operational cost of enforcing the blockade past the point of strategic viability. Electronic spoofing blinds the radar. Russian flags legally bind the interceptors. Paramilitary integration deters a kinetic boarding. The result is visible throughout the Gulf. Massive cargo vessels continue to pull into port, load their cargo, and sail out with near impunity. It exposes a severe miscalculation in modern military planning. The attempt to deploy 20th century conventional blockade doctrines against a 21st century asymmetric adversary. Overwhelming naval supremacy can secure the water, but it cannot stop the trade. The Shadow Fleet proves that modern maritime choke points are actively subverted by exploiting the very legal and commercial systems the blockading forces are trying to protect.